Well, congratulations on your freedom, mistress. Can we find it now? Asked the girl, her favorite black catberry. Yes, that's done. Now we can go, replied the girl. For several years now, her whole life had been like one big experiment. The girl was glad it was finally over. She had gained her long-awaited freedom, and now she could dispose of her life as she wished. Suddenly, almost under the girl's feet, there was an explosion. When the girl woke up, it was raining lightly. The girl was lying on the grass, her body burning with pain. Looking around, she noticed that the area was unfamiliar to her. What was she doing here? How did she find herself here? Several fractures in both legs, one broken rib, dislocated right wrist. After falling from such a great height, it's a miracle the body didn't turn into a pile of slime, mumbled the cat. Arching out, the cat transferred some of its life force to the girl. Congratulations, mistress, you've survived again, said the cat to the girl. Suddenly, the girl's mind began to flash images of her riding a horse somewhere far away. But where were all these memories coming from? It had never happened in her life. Then the girl had a memory of being betrothed to the second prince of Serral, Caesar Guaner. One day, Caesar invited the girl to take a walk on the hill of a cliff. Standing on the edge of the cliff, the girl didn't notice someone coming up behind her and pushing her in the back. With a loud scream, she flew down. It turns out I've been reincarnated. Still, being reborn in a new body is better than being blown up. Now I will live the life of that unfortunate girl. I can get revenge on those who hurt her. Simone decided to herself. Seeing a cave, the girl decided to hide in it from the rain. My dear Mistress Simone, I never would have thought you would have to go through so many trials. It's a blessing that there was a cave nearby where you can hide and recover, said the girl to her cat, Barry. You know very well the injuries I've sustained. I'm not entirely sure I can survive the night, Simone admitted. Simone heard someone near the cave. Some person was quietly rustling the grass. The girl decided to cautiously crawl outside to ask for help. Peeking out of the cave, Simone saw a blonde-haired man chained in chains. This is new. I didn't expect to see a girl in here. But you're too bad. You're going to die soon, said the man. Simone noticed that there was a lock hanging from the man's belt. She thought that if she could still manage to get the chains off the man, he might be able to help her. The girl proposed a deal. You want to save me? Do you realize how funny that sounds? You're pretty funny. Okay, here's the deal. You save me, and I'll then try to heal your wounds. The man agreed. Simone pulled a bobby pin out of her hair and began to gently ruffle her locks with it. Forget about it. There's a spell on this lock. The last person who tried to open it now is no more than a handful of ashes. You could get hurt, too. The man warned Simone. And I'll try to do something anyway. It can't get any worse. You said it yourself. I'm dying. I have nothing to lose, Simone replied. There was an explosion, and the chains along with the lock shattered into small pieces. Nothing happened to that girl. This whole situation is getting more interesting by the minute, the man thought to himself. Take me home, Simone muttered and fainted. As you wish, said the man and picked the girl up in his arms. I thought I was going to die if you didn't wake up. How glad I am that you have finally opened your eyes, exclaimed the gray-haired man. Simone guessed it was the body mistress's grandfather. I was very afraid for you since your familiar still hasn't awakened. What will happen if you don't have it after all? Then you'll only have to rely on me, your grandfather. Simone began to remember what a familiar was. In this world, it was a special power that set a person apart from others. This power usually slept in a person's body and woke up when they turned 14. Familiars usually manifested as a ring, but sometimes they could take physical form as well. Familiars could be weapons or animals. Rarely they manifested as plants. Familiars served their masters unconditionally. Based on the body's memories, the girl realized that Simone Granta's third daughter had a dead familiar. It was for this reason that the girl was mocked and called talentless by everyone. And yes, the mistress of the body was also named Simone. But you have nothing to fear now. There is nothing you should be worried about. Now I will tell your big brother to take care of you, said the grandfather, and patted the girl on the head. Simone froze in surprise. The mistress of this body had no memories of her brothers. Sis, it's time to take your medicine. Drink it while it's hot. The blonde-haired man who saved Simone entered the room. Wired, I'm leaving Simone to you. Take good care of her. Grandpa asked the blonde-haired man and left the room. Why are you here? Asked Simone. You saved me. I'm here to return my favor to you, replied the man. I don't need your help. I can take it from here. And I'm not your sister. What have you done to grandfather? Why does he consider you my brother and his grandson? Shifting her eyebrows, Simone asked. You don't have to worry about grandfather. I used a small spell on him. It allows you to alter a person's memories. Don't worry, this spell won't do any harm to your grandfather, answered Wired. Allow me to stay with you to do my duty. When I heal you, I'll be out of here. It wasn't until a month later that Simone was finally able to get out of bed. Those doctors turned out to be complete charlatans. If you had treated yourself, it would have taken a little over a week to recover. Those losers kept you in bed for a month. Is that any way to treat people? Barry the cat was indignant. I was wounded so badly that I couldn't have healed myself on my own. And no matter how those doctors treated me, I'm still alive. So you shouldn't scold them too much, replied the girl to the cat. Simone, how are you feeling right now? Is there anything else I can do for you? Asked Verd, who entered. Come out, I need to change. I have guests coming over today, replied the girl. You're still not completely healed, so it would be best if I help you. Wired not only helped Simone put on her best outfit, but also decorated her hair with a flower. That's it. You look great, so you can safely go out to meet your guests. Wired was satisfied with his work. Second Prince Cesar, wait a moment. Simone hasn't fully recovered yet. I know it will take a little longer to prepare, but there is no other option now, said King Charles Grante and Simone's part-time uncle. No problem, I'm willing to wait. There's our Simone, Yasin exclaimed. She was the top disciple of the White Lotus sect. Wired carried Simone into the room in his arms. How come I never knew about Simone having an older brother? How long was your family going to keep such an important fact from me? Cesar asked. Wired was an orphan taken into care by my father. He was raised in military camps from a young age. Simone was terribly wounded. My father's health is poor, and I am a poor helper. For that reason, I had to seek the help of Word, explained the king. Still, Wired's tricks are impressive. Not only was he able to enchant the grandfather, but also the uncle of the mistress of this body. These people don't even realize they're being tricked, Simone thought to herself. I brought along the White Lotus disciple, Yasina, to take care of Simone's treatment, said Cesar. The memories of the body came over Simone again. She suddenly realized that Cesar was actually not as nice as he wanted to appear. You don't have to. I'm already feeling much better. Simone hurriedly declined the offer. She didn't want Caesar to be in her life in any way. Miss Yasin is a disciple of the head of the White Lotus sect. She doesn't offer her services very often. I invited her here considering that you and I know each other well. Although we aren't destined to be together in the end, I don't want to watch you suffer, said Cesar. Second Prince, what do you mean? Are you breaking the engagement? Asked the king. I have no other choice. It has already been confirmed that Simone's familiar is dead. I believe we have no future together, and I would like to point out that my father thinks the same, Cesar replied. I want to end this engagement peacefully. That's why I came here today with the White Lotus disciple. I want to help Simone and part with her on a good note. Tomorrow we will notify the public. My teacher once told me, take from life all that it has to offer you. In the current situation, I will not force a person to accept my help, said Yasin. I'm tired. Can you carry me back? Simone gently took Wired's sleeve. Sure, said Wired and took the girl in his arms. She's only a general's daughter, but has the nerve to be so rude to me. I wouldn't be able to bitch like that if you weren't around, Yasin complained. Cesar promised the girl that he would help her get revenge. Really? You'll keep your words? You won't forget what you just said to me? Yasin asked. Of course I will remember it. I will keep all my promises I made to you, replied Caesar. Suddenly, the wagon shook violently. Caesar and Yasin looked out of the window. You're out of luck. I don't have as good a temper as Simone. With a smirk on his face, the Verd who appeared said. In the same second, the carriage burst into bright flames. Mistress, this palace isn't safe. Should we leave this place after all? Or do you plan to continue your treatment here? Asked Simone, her cat Barry. We're going to stay here for some time. I don't think anyone will harm us. The father of the mistress of this body died in the prime of life. The current King Charles is suffering from leg paralysis. I see no danger in anyone else at the moment. Simone replied, That's just it. Your uncle is paralyzed, your father is dead, you yourself have no familiars. That's the reason Caesar is acting this way towards you. He's just not afraid of you and your family, said the cat to the girl. Suddenly, Barry felt warmth coming from the girl's hand. This feeling was something new. It was different from the usual touch. It seemed to Barry that there was some kind of power walking around the girl's palm. I would like to point out that the energy in your hand is too weak. I wouldn't feel it at all if our souls didn't share the same body. The girl clenched her fist with all her might. Immediately, her room was filled with pink lotus flowers. Wow, so your familiar is a plant. No wonder you couldn't sense him before. Wired stealthily entered the room and hugged the girl from behind. Familiars plants are pretty rare. They don't like weapons or animal familiars that can form right into a ring. Many people have died before they ever knew they had a plant familiar. Your clothes are soaked with the smell of blood. What happened? Asked Simone to Wired. Sorry, next time I want to come to your place, I'll be sure to take a shower, Wired promised. I learned a few minutes ago that the second prince was attacked last night on his way back to his palace. People are talking about how we were the ones who hired the assassin because of an annulled engagement. Narrated Valentine, Simone's grandfather. The second prince is fine now, with a disciple of the White Lotus sect, Yasin, by his side. I'm sure this girl will quickly get him back on his feet. His Majesty has come to a rage and has instructed me to find the mercenaries and kill them. I fear this is the Emperor's warning to our kingdom. If my brother hadn't died then, and I hadn't been crippled, it's likely that the Emperor would have tried to destroy our kingdom altogether. Carl exclaimed, You're right. When the bird is dead, then it's time to put away the bow. We pose no danger to the Emperor, so he doesn't take us seriously. But I promise that as long as I'm alive, I won't let anyone hurt our house, Valentine said in a firm tone. Simone heard the conversation between the two men. The girl realized that now her peaceful life was over. Simone remembered her own grandfather from her previous life. He was the one who had taught her a lot of things, was always by her side, and encouraged her. Her grandfather helped Simone decipher the code of genetic sequences. Some time later, Simone became a guinea pig for Grandpa. He often used his new drugs on her. Grandpa, Uncle, I want to annul the engagement, Simone announced. Simone, what are you doing? Surprised Valentine. I want to annul the engagement so that I can have more time to study medicine. I want to immerse myself in science, replied the girl. Cancel the engagement. Study medicine. Where did you hear all that nonsense? Even if you don't have a surname at the moment, you're still the daughter of the Grante family. As long as I'm here, I won't let anyone hurt you. Valentine hurriedly assured his granddaughter of his support. Simone, maybe you have some reason for this that you're keeping quiet about. Tell us all about it, asked his niece Carl. Grandpa, Uncle, I just don't want to be useless. I want to be useful to this house, and I like learning in general. I've always wanted to practice medicine. The girl admitted and left the room. Valentine noticed that his granddaughter had changed a lot since waking up. Not only had her character changed, but also her aspirations. If my brother were to see her now, he would be happy. I'm sure of it, said Carl. Mistress, it's already been a whole month since you sat down to study the manuscripts. Didn't you get bored in your past life learning medicine with your crazy grandfather? Barry asked the girl. For the moment, it's all a game, replied the girl. Are you saying you're only doing all this to avoid suspicion in the future? Clarified the cat. The girl didn't answer him anything, only gently rubbed his head. I found out the other day that the king still hasn't caught the people who attacked that scumbag. A lot of people started thinking that you were the one who set his wagon on fire, and the king is dragging out the investigation to protect you, narrated Barry. I think this situation will resolve itself, said Simone, and plunged into reading her notes. What about your familiar? Are you going to do any research on that? Asked Barry. Yes, I'm slowly learning how to control my power. Simone created a pink lotus flower in the air. The girl wanted to pluck one petal from the lotus, but suddenly the flower screamed loudly that it hurt. Out of surprise, Simone dropped the flower from her hands. The pink lotus flower fell apart and a little boy appeared from its gut. Mistress, don't ever do that again because it hurts, asked the boy. Who did you just call mistress? Where did you come here from anyway? If you keep acting like that, I'm going to rip you into little pieces, warned the boy Barry. Sorry about him, he's a little out of sorts. Probably overheated in the sun. Answer me, who are you? Asked Simone to the boy. I am your familiar. I appear from a pink lotus flower. You may call me Lotus, replied the boy. Mistress, your familiar looks kind of useless. He has small hands, weak legs, and zero fighting strength, said Barry. I'm not useless at all. My petals can energy, and my seeds can purify bone marrow. Mistress, please don't give up on me. In a pleading tone, Lotus asked, If you really have the power to refine bone marrow, the kingdom could use it, Simone muttered. Simone, hello. Have you finally decided to break away from your textbooks? I haven't seen you in over a month, exclaimed Carl, noticing his niece. Yes, I've finished researching topics of interest in medicine. Let me examine your feet, the girl asked. Carl rolled up his pant legs so the girl could examine his feet. There are unusual wounds on my legs. They are all poison lesions. Even the head of the White Lotus sect couldn't cure these wounds, told Carl. Uncle, you trust me, right? Let me heal your injuries, asked Simone. Carl answered her that of course he trusts her. She is his niece. Simone asked her uncle to open his mouth. The girl gave him a pink lotus seed. As soon as Carl swallowed the pink lotus seed, a flower immediately appeared near his feet and began to heal him. These seeds I collected last night. I found information in medical manuscripts that they can be used to remove poison from the body. I hope you'll be back on your feet soon, said Simone. Where is Simone now, and why did she leave her chambers? Asked Wired to his assistant. Your Excellency, the young miss and the young master are in the garden at the moment. I saw her feeding the young master some pink lotus seeds. If you don't need me any more, then I will go, said the assistant, and vanished into thin air. Well, good. At least some movement has begun in this kingdom, muttered Wired. After researching a few books, I learned that the pink lotus can only produce 2 seeds a year. Is it logical to use such valuable seeds so easily? Isn't that too generous? Asked Barry to Simone. I know some people have destroyed their own families for the sake of a single pink lotus seed. It's too generous to give it to just anyone. Or don't you care? Asked the girl as Verd emerged. Why did you show up in my room again? You've been gone for a month. I thought you weren't coming anymore. Do you need something from me? Simone asked Wired. You're right. I've been gone a long time. Haven't you missed me at all? Aren't you curious where I've been missing? Wired hugged the girl gently. I'm not curious at all where you've been all this time, Simone replied. You know, and that was hurtful to hear. Wired admitted, but still decided not to give up. I'll need to be away for an extended period of time soon, but don't worry, my little C. As long as you need me, I will always be there for you. A frightened servant ran into the room. He told them that the sickness had returned to the king again. The poison had become active. At the moment, the king was too weak, vomiting blood. The healer advised to prepare for a funeral. Most likely the king would not survive the night. Simone hurried to her uncle's room. Young mistress, it's your fault that the king has gotten sick. He's only in this state because you fed him those seeds, shouted the king's servant. I don't have time to explain all the intricacies of the treatment right now, but I want to assure you that I had absolutely nothing to do with it. Bring some stoves to the king's room and close all the windows and doors. I will extract the poison with acupuncture. Sir, are you really going to let your granddaughter do all this mayhem? Asked the favor to Valentine. Simone had been demanding for hours now that the furnaces be replaced regularly and that the windows and doors not be opened under any circumstances. Mr. Valentine, the young master's condition has stabilized. It is all thanks to the young miss. A cheerful maid came out of the king's room. For 2 days, Simone not only gave the king acupuncture treatments, but also personally prepared his meals herself. The girl was afraid that someone would want to put poison in the food. "It's me!" A joyful Verd entered the king's room. "These pens shouldn't be doing such dirty work. Let the servants prepare the food." Wired took the girl's hands away from the pot of food and began to scrutinize them. "You're giving off some foul odor again," said Simone and pulled her hand away. "You mean my clothes still smell like blood?" wondered Wired and sniffed his outerwear. "Answer me, why did you come here?" asked the girl. "I came to you to say goodbye. Difficulties have arisen that require my presence," replied Wired. "Answer me, please, one more question. Was that attack on Cesar your handiwork?" inquired Simone. "Yes, I did it. After all, no one has the right to talk to you like that. Only I can take liberties with you," said Wired and stroked the girl's head. "That's it. Go away. I'm sick of you." Simone pushed Wired's hand away from her. "Fine. If that's the way you want it, then I'll go." In an offended voice, Wired said and turned around to leave. Simone grabbed Wired's sleeve and asked him to be careful. "Okay, I'll be careful. But while we're apart, don't you think we should do some kind of protocol?" Word asked the girl. "Something like that." Wyber kissed the girl on the lips. "I knew it would end with that," mumbled Barry. "Simone, you haven't slept in days. You should at least get some rest," said Valentine to his granddaughter. "Young mistress, please forgive me for my behavior," said the king's servant and got down on one knee in front of the girl. "It's all right. I don't hold a grudge against you. You were just concerned. That's why you reacted like that. Get up," said Simone. "Simone, I still don't fully understand how the pink lotus seed is able to remove all the poison from your uncle's body," asked Valentine. "I recently read in a book that if you feed a person pink lotus seed soup and add a few rare ingredients, you can extract any poison from the body. Acupuncture only helps speed up that process," replied Simone. "If I did everything right, when Uncle wakes up, he will be able to walk again." "Young mistress, are you seriously saying that now? You know that even the head of the White Lotus sect himself couldn't cure the king's legs. Is this really real?" The servant was surprised. "Mr. Valentine, an unforeseen thing has happened. At the moment, the palace is holding a birthday celebration for the crown prince. The emperor has ordered you to attend the celebration with your grandson and granddaughter," a herald announced in a loud voice. "Simone, you look tired, so go get some rest and we'll try to solve this problem somehow," said Valentine to the girl. Simone decided not to cross him and immediately went to her room. "Gustav, what do you think about this?" asked Valentine to the servant. "His Majesty is summoning you three specifically, and it is suspicious. I heard that the Emperor has organized a birthday party for the Crown Prince in the city of Duke. It is located not far from us. It could be a trap," replied Gustav. "Gustav, I charge you to lead our army and be ready to defend our kingdom. Make sure no one finds out about our king's state of health," ordered Valentine. "Mistress, this all looks extremely suspicious. I don't think there is a reason you are all being called to that celebration," Barry said in an agitated voice. "The Grante family has been very powerful for many years, but unfortunately, things have changed for the moment. It seems to me that the Emperor has called us to the gala to mock us once again," Simone said in a thoughtful voice. "What are we supposed to do now? We can't just sit around and wait to get nailed, can we?" exclaimed Barry. "There is one sure option at the moment. We need to change from inert to proactive. Becoming stronger will be the best defense. At a time like this, we need to think of all the ways to strengthen my familiar's strength, said the girl. According to my body's memories, if I want to grow a rare kind of heirloom plant, there's only one single place where I can buy all the materials I need to do so. We need to head to the ghost market. Simone changed into simpler clothes so as not to stand out from the ordinary folk. Mistress, are you taking that thing with you? Asked Barry, pointing at the box with his paw. Verd had given the girl a cloaking crystal a few days ago. He had asked the girl to use it when he wasn't around. The world outside is dangerous. Little C has to be careful. But if you want me to not leave and always be by your side, all you have to do is ask for it, said the girl to Wyherd. But she chose not to answer him anything to his words. Heh, silent? I sometimes feel like you just hate me, but I have absolutely no idea why. It's so painful to realize that. But let's hope that you're really just shy and don't know how to express your feelings. Wyherd leaned over the girl and kissed her forehead. Simone knew that just outside of town lay a hidden place that many people didn't know about. Surprisingly, that place is densely populated. Legends say that in the marketplaces, the rarest treasures are sold. Sometimes their price is unimaginable. Simone stepped confidently over the threshold of the ghostly marketplace. It was here that she would be able to buy the ingredients she needed. Simone approached the holy of holies of the ghost market. The guards immediately blocked her way and demanded permission to enter. Take this potion. I prepared it as a token of my respect. Simone knew that one was only allowed into the Holy of Holies if one provided some outlandish item. The guards liked the potion, so they let the girl in. Entering the Holy of Holies of the ghost market, the girl saw a large gathering of people. They were talking loudly, joking, buying, and selling. Looking at the gloomy facade of this place, there's no way you'd think it could be so lively inside. By the way, how are you going to find the cultivation literature you need? Kat asked the girl. If the book you need is somewhere nearby, this ring will immediately react to it. I have asked the familiar to settle in this jewelry. Now he will direct our actions, replied the girl. Simone had been walking around the market for over 2 hours now, but her familiar didn't react to the books in any way. Look, there are some books there too. Maybe they'll be useful to us, shouted Lotus and pointed his finger at a small pile of books. They were lying right on the ground. The bookseller made Simone a little confused. He was very poorly dressed and very dirty. Simone crouched down next to the shabby books and held out her hand with a ring to them. Next to one of the books, the ring shone brightly. What have you set your eye on? Have you already noticed that I sell some pretty rare items? If you're interested in a certain book, I'll sell it to you for 5 pearls, exclaimed the seller. Pearls were a rather rare measure of payment. Since it was extremely hard to get them, they were expensive. A single pearl was worth several thousand coins. I don't have any pearls. I only have elixirs. Will this kind of payment work? Asked the girl. The vendor answered her that he only accepted payment in the form of pearls. Well then, I'll go look further, said the girl and turned around to leave, but the seller immediately stopped her. Wait, it was fate that brought you to my shop. I know a place where you can buy some pearls for elixirs. You can trade your elixirs for them. The vendor pointed his finger at the shop that was buying up elixirs. Pay attention to my shop. If you have a good elixir, you can exchange it for rare treasures. Not only can you purchase pearls, but also many spirit stones. An old man shouted. Did you hear that? You can also buy spirit stones here. They are used to increase the strength of a familiar. If one such stone is placed in a familiar's body, its strength will increase several times. But how do you buy this stone? It costs a lot. The people in the crowd whispered. Forgive me. I heard that it is possible to purchase what I need here, said Simone to the old man. Suddenly, the girl heard an excited voice. People started talking about the fact that Bastard Caesar had arrived at the market accompanied by Yasin. A familiar face, muttered Caesar while looking at Simone. The casket with the cloaking crystal in the girl's pouch glowed brightly. I sense an alarm. Has something happened to my little C? I must finish up here as soon as possible and go to her aid, mumbled Wired. Lord Brody, you're brave enough to show up here in person, aren't you? Do you really believe you are as powerful as you were when you ruled the evil kingdom? Or are you here to show us your respect? The masked man asked Wired. It seems time has taught you nothing. That's okay. We'll fix that quickly. I'm about to remind you who you should be afraid of, said Wired in a tone that did not bode well. Old man, what do you want for these pearls? Asked Caesar to the pearl merchant. The man answered him that he only accepts elixirs. He has absolutely no interest in gold and money. Caesar arrived at the ghost market to buy pearls to inlay in the crown prepared for Yasin. The elixirs were stored in the emperor's warehouse. Caesar didn't have time to go after them. I don't have any elixirs, but I do have a piece of high-quality emerald jade. This item is 1 in a million. I think exchanging the jade for a few of your pearls won't be a problem, said Caesar to the old man. I told you I only accept elixirs. If you don't have any, then try haggling with other sellers, replied the old man. I don't know if the elixir prepared by my teacher is worthy of your pearls. Yasin held out a small vial to the old man. No, I am not interested in the elixirs prepared by your teacher. If you don't have anything else, you can go, said the old man to the girl. Would you be interested in my potions? Asked Simone to the old man. The old man picked up a vial of Simone's elixir, opened the lid, and inhaled the aroma of the potion. This elixir has a rich medicinal flavor, noted the old man. This is the fragrance of a high-quality elixir. I'm willing to exchange this vial for 9 pearls. If you have more, I'm willing to bargain. Where would this lurker get a high-quality elixir? Irritated, Yasin thought to herself. Caesar noticed that the girl was extremely interested in Simone's elixirs. Simone took the pearls she was entitled to and hurried over to the bookseller. Suddenly, Caesar blocked the girl's way and demanded that she sell her elixir to him. I'd rather bargain with a dog than with you, Simone said in an angry voice. The girl took the last vial of elixir out of her pocket and crushed it in her fist. Caesar really wanted to hit the girl, but he couldn't. Fighting and squabbling were forbidden in the ghost market. Simone gave the bookseller the purchased pearls and took her goods. Mistress, did you see the faces of those freaks? You're the ultimate medical genius. Making some elixir is a cakewalk for you. Laughing, said Barry. Suddenly, someone clamped the girl's mouth shut and held her tightly against him. A sharp metal spike flew nearby. Don't look around. It's an ambush, said the girl to Wired. And where did it disappear to? We just shot at a moving target. Look. There's a blood trail on the ground. He's probably wounded and won't be able to get far. We need to search everything. We can't lose him. The black-clad men sitting on the roof whispered, My little C, it's not a good decision to come to the ghost market late at night, whispered Wired in the girl's ear. Simone noticed that he was wounded in the arm. Don't worry, it's nothing. Such a small scratch can't hurt me. Wait for me here, I'll be back soon, said Wired and disappeared into the darkness. A moment later, Wired found himself on the roof of a building. How did you end up here? You're injured, wondered the man in black clothing. After just a few minutes, the attackers were finished. Suddenly, Wired felt some kind of cold energy. It was the same energy he had felt from the man who had killed him long ago. On the attacker's belt, Wired saw a jade pendant. Such pendants were worn by people from the 3 middle worlds. They have already started to act, and they already dared to attack Simone, Wired thought to himself. My little C, you went out alone in the middle of the night and traveled to the scariest place in this country. Do you think you should be punished for that? Asked Wired and hugged the girl gently. I don't remember asking you for help. You don't have to worry about me, replied Simone. Fool. You went to the ghost market because I didn't tell you where I was going? I had no idea you'd be so interested in it. Are you really worried about me? That's so sweet. Wired looked fondly into the girl's eyes. Her familiar lotus appeared next to the girl. Barry immediately threw himself at him. The book he had recently bought fell onto the table with a clatter. Sigh, you should have raised your monster a little better. It's too aggressive. And explain to me what you need this book for, asked the girl Bayard. I am an heirloom plant, so normal cultivation methods don't work on me. It's quite a rare book. We were lucky enough to find it. I'm sure Simone should definitely read it," said Lotus. "If it's the book I'm thinking of, you'll be able to use it to cultivate your familiar and learn new healing methods," Wired said, thoughtfully playing with the girl's hair. "All right, I'll research this book tomorrow and you can leave. I'm too tired. I want to sleep," said Simone and got up from her seat. "All right, get some rest. I'll close the door behind me." Wired left the room and locked the doors tightly as promised. The next day, Carl finally woke up. "Sure, I feel much better, but I'm still weak. The only thing that makes me happy is the fact that I'm starting to feel my legs now," Carl admitted. "That indicates that the poison is completely out of your body. Now we can start rehabilitating your legs," said Simone to her uncle. Simone held out a small yellow pill to her uncle. She explained that this medicine would restore the king to his former condition. "Simone, I absolutely don't understand the point of your treatment. Why return your uncle to his former state?" Valentine wondered. "Grandfather, it's not like the Emperor wants my uncle to get better, and if he doesn't want that, it's best to leave things as they were," Simone explained. "Are you sure this medicine doesn't have any side effects?" asked Valentine. "Uncle, do you trust me?" asked Simone to Carl. The man nodded silently. "Your Excellency, I have inquired about the ones who tried to attack the young lady. My guesses have been confirmed. They are indeed from the middle world," told Veyard by his assistant. "If you want me to get them for you, just give me the order. Wait. First, let my spies have a good look into their exact origins. Simone's life cannot be allowed to be jeopardized. I will assign a man over her to guard her," answered his aide, Wired. 2 days later, Valentine arrived at the palace with his grandsons and granddaughter. "Look, isn't this the Grante family? I heard that the Emperor ordered them all to attend the banquet. Look at this. They even brought a cripple. I don't understand why the Emperor is afraid of this family." The people present in the square whispered. Although the banquet was in honor of Crown Prince Moana Swan's birthday, the celebration was held in sepulchral silence. It's the Crown Prince's birthday party, but at first of the banquet he didn't speak to anyone. It seems that things aren't as good in the palace as they might have seemed at first, Simone thought to herself. "And what do you think of this celebration?" whispered Verd asked the girl. "After looking around, I concluded that the Emperor does not like his eldest son Moana. He favors the second Prince Caesar." In the same whisper, the girl replied, "As expected, Simone turned out to be very savvy. At first glance, it may seem like a lot of money was spent on this banquet, but it's just a cheap farce for those who don't understand the internal situation of the palace," Wired thought to himself. As it happens, most people think the crown bird is a daddy's boy, but people who understand the whole situation guess that it's all arranged for the sake of the second prince. "Carl, I'm glad you were able to make it to this banquet today. How are you feeling?" asked the Emperor. "Your Majesty, Carl couldn't agree his sentence as he coughed violently. The Emperor ordered to call the healers. After looking over Charles, the imperial healers announced that there was nothing they could do to help the king. "Since Yasin is here and is in no hurry to save King Carl, I can only conclude that she just wants to know how long he has left." Simone guessed. "Your Majesty, the court healers are right. King Charles cannot be saved from the disease that the poison in his body has caused. It seems to me that no one can cure him anymore, not even my master," Yasin said in a loud voice. "God, how cruel the heavenly powers are to this man after all." The Emperor pretended to be extremely upset by what he heard. "Yasin, you did well," said Caesar, and gently embraced the girl. "Brother, I feel that you have pressed too much on Mistress Yasin. Your behavior is a bit immoral and irresponsible." In a voice full of disdain, Moan said, "Running away from the old for something new, such behavior is not for the imperial family. You didn't even think with your heads that because of your intimate demonstrations with Madame Yasin, you are making others feel uncomfortable." "Moan, have you started drinking again?" the Emperor asked his son. "Yes, you're right. I can't seem to abstain from alcohol. "Father, let me bow out and go get some rest," said the crown prince and left the banquet hall. "Let's follow him," suggested the girl Verd. After leaving the banquet hall, Viard and Simone saw that the crown prince took a couple steps and fell to the ground. "Wait, don't go near him. Let's observe for a while." Weird noticed that Simone was rushing to help the crown prince, so he hurriedly stopped her. "Mistress, I don't think he's breathing," said Barry. "I've lost consciousness again. It seems like I'm getting worse every day. But I'm going to keep drinking anyway. Good wine can't go to waste," mumbled Moan, rising from the ground. "And if you want to die so young, then keep it up and drink even more," exclaimed Simone. The crown prince turned around at the voice. "Do you even know who I am? You're very brave to say such a thing to a prince," murmured Moan. "I see that someone doesn't want to be the crown prince. If you want to die, you'd better put a noose around your neck and be done with it." "Why are you wasting your time and other people's time?" said Wired. "What do you want from me? Why are you picking on me? Let me pretend I didn't hear those words. I'll advise you not to say things like that to anyone else." In a tired voice, Moan said, "If you want to avenge your mother and her family, then you need to find the strength to defend yourself and your title," Simone said with defiance in her voice. "Who the hell are you anyway? How do you know about my mother?" Moan wondered. "I know what others know, no more and no less. If you hate your life, then find some meaning in it. And if you are dissatisfied with your destiny, then take it into your own hands," replied the girl. "And what makes you think I want to do that? This bloody crown, this title, I own none of it. My own father and my brother want me dead. The ministers almost threw me out of the palace," screamed the prince. "My mother's murderer is now sitting on the throne, and there is nothing I can do about it. I have nowhere to go and no one to ask for help. Yes, I am unhappy with the situation, but is there anything I can do to change it?" "What if I told you that I could save you?" Simone asked the prince. "And I'm guessing that you were poisoned." The girl ordered her cat Barry to grab the prince and hold him tightly. Barry immediately transformed from a small cat into a large black panther. Barry jumped on Prince and knocked him to the ground. "What is this?" In a voice trembling with fright, the crown prince asked. "I don't like to beat around the bush, so you'll soon have the answers to all your questions," replied Simone. The girl grabbed the prince's face and made him open his mouth. Afterward, she put a yellow pill in his mouth. "Crazy girl, what did you feed me? Have you decided to kill me?" screamed the prince. The girl answered him in a calm voice that she, on the contrary, wanted to save his life, not destroy it. "I didn't realize that Simone's little kitty was capable of such a thing. Most likely this animal is an ordinary spirit. We can conclude that Simone and this cat have two spirits in the same body," thought Wyherd while watching what was happening. "Barry, let him go!" ordered Simone to her cat. The animal immediately took its former form. Moan felt much better after the medicine the girl gave him. His body felt light and his headache was gone. "Why are you helping me?" asked the prince to the girl. "I only want to protect my family. Rest assured that my family and army will be loyal to you. The Grante family will support you on your path to the throne. But always remember, if I saved your life, I can also take it back," warned Simone. "All right, I will accept your help," said the crown prince to the girl. He finally had hope that he could avenge his mother's death, and no matter what this girl asked for his help. Wired and Simone returned to the banquet hall. Wired noticed with what angry looks Cesar and Yassine were looking at Simone. "Don't be afraid as long as I'm around, and I won't let that dumbass affect your mood," Wired promised the girl. When Simone entered her room, Wired followed her in. "I see you're in an extremely good mood today. Why would that be?" asked the girl to Wired. "Because of you, of course, my little C. When you're around, I'm always in a good mood." Smiling, Wyherd replied, "It's getting very late. I want to go to bed. You should go," said the girl, and Wired immediately hurried to bow out. Before going to bed, Simone called out to her familiar. She remembered hearing his voice clearly at the banquet. She wondered what he wanted from her. "Mistress, did you really hear me? That's great. At that banquet, I heard the fragrance of the jade wine. With it, you can pump me up. You can put my seeds into this wine and thus multiply them, told the girl by her familiar. And if the resulting seeds you feed to me, you will thus increase my strength. And if I am strong, you will also pump yourself up. So we need to get some of this wine somewhere. A herald of the emperor came to the residence of the Grante family and announced that the crown prince was waiting for the young mistress in his palace. Simone, I know the crown prince is not a bad man, but still, things can happen in his house. Many years ago, we saved the prince from being killed, but we haven't had any contact with him until today. This invitation is highly suspicious, Valentine said in an agitated voice. Don't worry, I'll go along with Simone. If anything happens, I can protect her. Calmed Valentine down, Weird reassured Valentine. I believe Simone should go at the crown prince's invitation. It's the right thing to do, and I'm sure there's no danger, so there's no need to worry unnecessarily, said Carl. Why is this guy here? I certainly didn't invite him. The prince thought to himself as soon as he saw Wired. Crown Prince, I'm sure the poison in your system has been building up for years. I have long wondered where it could have come from, Simone said thoughtfully. It would have to be someone familiar and quite close to the prince at all times. That would be the only way to poison him on a regular basis. Wired shared his thought. I've thought of that too. But no matter where I looked, no matter how hard I tried to find out who it was, I couldn't find any connection between me and the poison. I still don't know who is poisoning me. The prince admitted. Drink this elixir. If we are to draw that person out into the open, we need bait. This medicine will make you feel worse after contact with the poison. But don't worry, there won't be any adverse effects. Simone held out a small vial to the prince. A servant entered and announced that his younger brother Caesar and White Lotus disciple Yasin had arrived at the crown prince's residence. My dear brother, not much time has passed, but I noticed that you have become friends with Miss Simone. With a smirk on his face, Caesar said, Who I socialize with is none of your business, and I don't think you came here to discuss my personal affairs. Tell me why you came, demanded his brother Moan. Suddenly, the crown prince clutched his stomach. He felt violently nauseous. Caesar rushed to his brother's aid. According to rumors, he was getting better, and I must find out why his health has improved. Caesar thought to himself, Brother, we are lucky that I came to you with Yasin. She always has a few remedies with her at all times. I'm sure she'll be able to find one that will help you. Said Caesar, and Yasin immediately took out a small vial of medicine. No, don't! Moan waved his hand away from his brother. Better answer my question. Why did you come to me? What do you want from me? What do you mean? We're brothers. Am I not allowed to visit you? Yasin's medicine is extremely difficult to obtain. Then why do you refuse to take it? Aren't you wondering if they can help you? Caesar asked his brother. Crown Prince, what makes you think that the medicines I prepared won't be able to help you? Asked Yasin. She was hurt by the fact that the prince was refusing to take her medicine. Yasin, what are you talking about? I'm really feeling better now, so taking your medicine would be a waste of product. It's better to give your potion to those who really need it, said the crown prince with a smile. Brother, you seem to have misspoken. After all, other people don't even hope to get the medicine made by Yasin. You, I have to believe, a charlatan with a pretty face, said Caesar. And why are you saying that now? Are you afraid to reap what you have sown? Asked Simone to Caesar. How dare you insult a representative of the imperial family? Do you think your family has the power to protect you? Caesar shouted in anger. Wired snapped his fingers. Suddenly, a bone crunched in Caesar's hand. The man gave a loud howl. Piece of shit! Don't you dare poke your finger at my little C unless you want to die prematurely. Verd thought to himself irritably. Barry jumped onto the table where Yasin's vial stood and stealthily pushed it to the floor with his tail. As it fell, the vial shattered into small shards. Simone, look what your monster has done. Yasin said in an annoyed voice. Barry, don't you dare eat that. It's garbage, said Simone, and picked up her cat from the floor. Simone, yes, my medicine is not a national treasure, but it's still very hard to get. Your cat destroyed my potion. Is there anything you want to tell me about that? Yasin asked the girl. Are different things of such low quality hard to get? Wondered Simone. Simone, don't you know that making these medicines is a secret of the White Lotus sect? Even if you beg for them, you're unlikely to get them, Caesar exclaimed. The medicine your cat broke was meant to cure the Crown Prince's illness. This is an assault on the imperial family. You won't get away with it that easily. It's just a medicine. I can reimburse you. It's not a problem. Crown Prince, let me use your medicine room, Simone asked. Simone decided to prepare a potion that would immediately get the Crown Prince back on his feet. Her grandfather had taught the girl how to prepare such potions. They were based on the principles of Western medicine. At the end, Simona added the last of the pink lotus seeds. Half an hour later, Simona brought a bowl of prepared decoction into the hall. Cesar marveled at the speed at which the medicine was prepared. Moan decided to take Simona to the room where the jade wine was stored. There are only 5 kegs left at the moment. I usually just send my assistants to fill the vessels with wine from these kegs. Since my mother passed away, there are no people left in the country who can make jade wine. Wire dipped his finger into the wine and afterwards sniffed it. He loudly announced that the wine was not poisoned. If this wine isn't poisoned, and the one I drank before contained poison, then it's likely that poison was added to the bottles. The Crown Prince guessed. You should take a closer look at the people around you, Verd advised. You asked for some jade wine for the sake of pink lotus seeds? Asked Verd to the girl. Simone, why didn't you tell me earlier that you needed jade wine? I would have found the highest quality item for you. To be honest, I still don't understand what you want from me. Why are you in the vicinity of me? The girl asked. I want to be a big brother to you. Also, I want to give you this green pearl. You can use it as fertilizer, answered the girl. Viherd replied. I'll go in search of a high-quality liquid for you right after I settle some of my affairs. In the meantime, cultivate your familiar with the jade wine. With this gem, you'll be able to strengthen it much faster. Don't worry. I'll be back soon and be by your side again. Wired pulled the girl tightly against him. He wanted to be near her, but he was afraid of scaring her away with his active actions. Come back soon, Simone addressed Wired in her mind. For half a month, Simone had been increasing not only her familiar's strength, but her own as well. During this time, King Charles not only fully recovered, but also grew stronger. He had to go into hiding so that no one would find out about his recovery. Simone, since you've started to grow up, I've been thinking of taking you somewhere, said Carl to the girl. He suggested his niece to explore their lands. The first thing Carl decided to do was to show his niece their family's army. The army was in a secret location, and not a soul would guess that this was where hundreds of thousands of people trained regularly. Carl held out a small pouch to his niece. This is the only thing that can be used to summon our army. If you untie this pouch, you can take out a flare. On its signal, the army will immediately rush to you. Carl explained to the girl. No other army in the Empire compares to ours. It is for this reason that the Emperor does not dare to attack us openly. Now you too are worthy of conscripting an army. No one has the right to intimidate me and my family. I won't let anyone do that, the girl thought to herself. Why is it that my little C is so tired? Whispered Wiherd, and gently touched the girl's face. Back from the road, Simone decided to take a little break, but she didn't notice how she fell asleep. With a startled shudder, the girl opened her eyes. Listen, why is it that every time you come to me, you smell vilely of blood? Simone asked. I even changed my clothes before coming back here. I shouldn't smell like blood at all. Veyard was indignant. So what you're saying is that the Grante family has a pro lurking in the shadows. That's why Simone possesses such high-quality medicines? Emperor clarified to his son. Yes, I can't believe that Simone was able to master alchemy in no time. There are also rumors that Crown Prince Moan is in cahoots with her. Also, he has started to recover. I'm worried about it, Cesar admitted. And how is your relationship with Yasin? Asked the emperor to his son. She has begun to develop feelings for me. For the moment, I have it under control. However, Simone upset Yasin a lot the other day, and some of that displeasure has affected me as well, replied Caesar. I'm very worried about the truth coming out. Too many people will suffer then. Enough said about that. I have my own plans for that. And what did you find out about King Charles in the case of bribery and illegal seizure of property? Asked the emperor. I sent men to investigate it, but Charles is too cunning, so I couldn't find out anything, Caesar admitted. Simone prepared a large amount of strengthening pills and gave them to her family's army. Simone, please answer me. Where did you get these pills? Who else knows that you handed them over to the army? Asked Valentine to his granddaughter. I actually learned how to make these pills by reading books. Also, through other methods, I pumped up the preparation process itself. No one else knows about it, replied Simone. Simone, it's very good that you are so talented, but you must not tell absolutely no one about these pills, said Valentine to the girl. And remember, everyone knows that when a person's body matures, they are no longer able to perfect their energy channels. After that, a person can only meditate painstakingly, but that allows for negligible success, said Carl. If people find out about your pills, word will spread to the wrong people. Perhaps they will be eager to get their hands on them, and then you will be in danger. Father, is what you said about Bradley Sager true? Asked Carl after Simone left the room. He decided that the girl didn't need to know that information for now. It's all very suspicious. Bradley has always been an honest man, and he holds too high a position at court. I don't believe in the accusations directed toward him, but the emperor has already sent men to investigate, replied Valentine. Bradley once saved my brother's life. Now our family is indebted to him. If there is trouble going on in his life at the moment, it will be hard for us to stay away, Carl said in a thoughtful voice. A servant knocked on the room. He announced that Imperial General Jean Liang had come to the manor. The Imperial General did not come alone, but with a small army. Mr. Valentine, please, you must do something about this. I have received orders from the Emperor to investigate Bradley Sager. I have been ordered to capture him and bring him to the palace. The general dropped to one knee in front of Valentine. When I arrived there, I noticed that Sager's house had already been attacked. 36 people had been killed, including his wife. Neither I nor one of my soldiers can stand up to him, so I have come to seek your help. You must help us capture him. My lord, the influence of the middle worlds is already spreading to the lower worlds. Also, the masters have developed additional goals besides wanting to kill you. There is confirmation that they are keeping an eye on the young mistress. Reported to Wyherd, his assistant. While everyone has gone in search of Bradley Sager, we must destroy the useless daughter of the Grante family, whispered the black-clothed man. In his hands, he held a sharp, long sword. Stop. I won't let you disturb Simone's peace. Wyherd blocked the black-clothed man's way. With one swing of his hand, he sent them to the other side. Turning around, Wyherd noticed a surprised Simone. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to see all this. I was sure you were asleep, said Wyherd to the girl. The black-clothed men cautiously crept up on Carl and his servant Gustav. Weren't we told that King Carl is a dying cripple? What's going on now? The mercenary whispered in surprise. Hearing the whispers behind him, Carl released his familiar. He immediately took the form of a huge white owl. Simone ordered Barry to take the form of a black panther. Climbing on top of him, the girl set off to help her uncle. Simone, have you decided to join us too? It turns out that black cat is your familiar, Carl asked the girl. Let him think that Barry is my familiar. It's going to be pretty hard to explain that it's my second spirit. Simone thought to herself. When the mercenaries were finished, the Grante family's house manager, Sebastian, revealed that before the mercenaries attacked the house, General Jean Liang had visited them. After that, Valentine had disappeared somewhere. Carl quickly took out a flare from his pocket and launched a salute into the sky. I know that sound. King Carl has summoned his army. In a frightened voice, the Emperor said, "Young miss, are you sure it was the Emperor who kidnapped your grandfather?" asked Simone Gustave. "If it's as my uncle says, then his old badly committed a sudden assassination using a power beyond my grandfather's level. That already sounds extremely suspicious," replied Simone. "I'm also alarmed by the fact that my grandfather disappeared after the general came to our residence. I don't think it's a simple coincidence." "Simone, what is the meaning of all this? How dare you come here with your army? Is your courage running wild?" César was indignant. Upon hearing that the Granthe family was marching with their army to the imperial palace, the second prince immediately came out to meet them. "I was just following the assassins. The thing is, when your general left our residence, we were immediately attacked by mercenaries. You do realize that I can't stay away after that," replied the girl. "In addition, I was told that some of those mercenaries attacked you that day. You must remember that the Emperor ordered our family to find those people and deal with them, so I'm just carrying out the Emperor's decree. Those mercenaries possessed yellow-level spirits. How did they manage to straighten them out?" The Emperor thought to himself in surprise. The mercenaries turned out to be very agile. Some of them managed to escape to the capital. But don't worry, I have already instructed my army to search the city. Emperor, you don't have to worry. Our royal army will protect you." Simone continued to speak. "Where is Valentine now?" the Emperor asked his son in a quiet whisper. "He's currently locked in a dungeon," César replied. "Kill him. I'm sure Simone will do anything to find her grandfather. If we kill Valentine, the army will be without its commander-in-chief. That girl won't be able to run it properly afterward," said the Emperor to his son. "I report, young miss, we have captured them and brought them here." Getting down on one knee, one of the soldiers reported. Simone ordered the soldier to bring the men they had caught. The soldier brought out all the imperial officials in front of the army. "Simone, what are you doing?" exclaimed the Emperor. "Your Highness, I see you are confused. I want to assure you that all of these people are involved in the mercenary attack on the second prince. I believe they should die," Simone said in a calm, unemotional voice. "Order Valentine's release immediately. All these officials have spoken out against him. If we don't release him now, that wench will cause a bloodbath here," said the Emperor to his son. "Simone, stop! I'm here!" shouted his granddaughter Valentine. Wired supported the man to keep him from falling. "I brought you your grandfather, so you don't have to worry about him anymore. Everything is fine now," said Wired and stroked Simone's head. The girl thanked him for his help. "I don't want your words of thanks. Instead, I want a gift from you," said Verd to the girl and vanished into thin air. "Your Majesty, the fact that we caught the mercenaries today is not only a credit to our army, but also to the Crown Prince. All of these criminals were caught thanks to His Highness. I was only following his orders." Simone bowed low before the Emperor. The Crown Prince deliberately hid his intelligence to appear shallow and aimless in front of people. He did so to lower the enemy's defense and more easily prove the culpability of the criminals. His Highness sacrificed his reputation for a brighter and better future for the Empire. I ask your Majesty to bestow the gifts to the Crown Prince, as the palace will feel awkward if it takes all the rewards for itself." "Simone decided to help me earn points in front of the people?" Moan was surprised. "Moan, you've done admirably all these years. Simone is right. You deserve the reward," said the Emperor and squeezed his son's shoulder with all his might. "Uncle, grandfather was poisoned, so bring me some medicine from the drawer in my room," Simone asked. After taking the medicine, Valentine drifted into sleep. "Don't worry, he'll be fine. As long as I'm here, then even the King of Hell won't be able to take my grandfather away from me," said Simone. After a few hours, Valentine opened his eyes. "I'm sorry for making you worry," said Valentine, getting up on the bed. "Father, how come you went to follow the Imperial General?" asked Carl. "I followed the General since he said Bradley was in trouble. When I found Bradley, he was acting crazy. I gave him medicine to bring back his sanity. When Bradley came to his senses, he told me it was all a trap. Narrated Valentine. As soon as he finished speaking, his body immediately swelled up and exploded. I don't remember what happened after that. I felt weak and lost consciousness. Afterward, a bunch of people in black carried me to the dungeon. Then Wyherd came and saved me. Grandfather, you should rest. As for today, please forgive me for acting rashly at some points, said Simone. I understand. You did all of this to protect your family, so I can't judge you. But what do you plan to do next? Asked Valentine. I am preparing the Emperor's resignation so that the Crown Prince can take the throne, replied Simone. If you want to get the throne, the opinion of the people is extremely important. I would like to point out that my family will only be safe if you become Emperor, said Simone to the Crown Prince. I have done everything I can on my part. I have publicized the crimes of the officials, told of their atrocities. Now it is time for you to act as well. Yasin, are your pills really capable of helping us clean up all this mess? Cesar asked. As long as the Imperial soldiers are blasting all over the capital, the poison will slowly spread throughout the city. Without my antidote, the infected will die for another 3 days, replied the girl. During that time, the Grante family's army will try to stop us, and they will also be infected. My pills will help weaken the Grante family's army. But won't there be a large number of injured innocent people around the city? Cesar asked. His body was covered in cold sweat. Yasin's cruelty stunned him. What's wrong with killing a few creeps if it will do some good? Question after question, the girl answered. If you're not capable of handling it, then I'll give you some sort of sedative. And if you want, you can give the commoners the antidote yourself. That way, you'll gain their support. Young mistress, there have been several cases of people exploding within the Imperial city, the soldier reported. So who is spreading this explosive row? Whose games are these? Simone wondered. The Emperor adores his image that he has spent years building. Why would he destroy it by killing innocent citizens? It's unlikely he had anything to do with it, said Moan. You're right. I think a man who knows about poisons and medicines is involved here, Simone said thoughtfully. Are you implying that Yasin could have prepared this poison? But what would be the point of her killing people? The Crown Prince wondered. I'm more concerned with saving people. After doing a little investigation, I found out that all the people who were in contact with the people who exploded are also infected. It takes about 3 days for the poison to mature in the body. Simone shared her observations. Are you telling me now that in 3 days people will explode again and there will be more infected people in the city? Moan exclaimed. I've already gathered all the necessary ingredients in the Imperial City to create an antidote that will be enough for everyone, said Simone. The girl collected the antidote pills in vials and gave them to the Crown Prince. She ordered the medicine to be distributed throughout the Empire. Crown Prince, make sure people are aware of what's going on in the Imperial City, Simone asked. Simone, you're telling everyone that the poison is being spread by criminals from the shadows. What are you up to? Asked his niece Carl. I'm going to make everything hidden come to the surface. Criminals who are able to escape are not easy to find. On top of that, the Imperial capital is in a panic right now. It will be extremely difficult for me to ferret out the poisoner right now, replied the girl. Mistress, have I been meditating a lot lately with that shorty Lotus? Don't you find it strange? Barry asked the girl one morning. Simone gently tugged the lotus by its petal. Nothing happened. The familiar didn't appear. Simone, it worked! An excited moan ran into the room. All the civilians think there's a spy in the Imperial Guard. Everyone is pressuring me to go and capture him. That's good news. All indications are that my plan is working, Simone said in a calm voice. As always, you are very calm. I don't see any excitement on your face. But after all, we have been waiting for this moment for a long time. Now your army can march on the palace. When have you decided to advance? Asked the Crown Prince to the girl. I will advance with my army within 2 hours, replied Simone. Mistress has decided to massacre after all? Licking his soft coat, asked Barry. I just want to protect my family. For that reason, I need to get rid of future attacks and preserve my image, replied the girl. But that's impossible! No one but the master and me is capable of curing this poison, exclaimed Yasin. I have no idea who helped Simone deal with this mess. All I know is that right now, she and my older brother are leading an army straight to the palace. I'm afraid they're heading this way to catch you, Cesar said in a tired voice. But don't worry, I'll do everything in my power to protect you. Give her what she wants from you. Let's see what she can do. I've already sent a letter to the White Lotus sect. If even a hair falls off my head, the master won't just let it go, Yasin. The emperor praised himself for having a good idea. He was the one who decided to push Yasin and Simone's foreheads together. His youngest son helped turn the plan into reality. Father, a spy from the Imperial Guard spread poison to harm civilians. I was worried for your safety, so I immediately brought the Grante family's troops to the palace, said Moan as soon as he crossed the threshold of the throne room. I won't beg for your forgiveness. I only want to capture those who want to destroy our country with their poison. Since I'm not much good at medicine, I brought Simone with me. It was thanks to her that we were able to cure the civilians. Simone kicked the legs of the second Prince Caesar and his girlfriend Yasin. Those immediately fell to the ground. Simone, are you crazy? What are you doing? Yasin shouted. You're the White Lotus clan's apprentice. You keep calling yourself a medical expert. Well, this is your chance to show off your skills. Leaning over Yasin, said Simone. I've blocked the blood vessels in Cesar's legs. If you don't restore blood flow within 2 hours, he'll never be able to stand up again, warned Simone. Don't think you're going to get away with this. When my master gets here, he'll be sure to punish you. Yasin hissed through her teeth. Simone gave the girl 2 ringing slaps. I told you to start treating him, and you're talking non-stop, Simone said in an angry voice. How dare you hit me? Yasin wondered, and immediately received another punch in the face. I can't believe that Simone didn't even move at the mention of the White Lotus sect. The emperor was surprised. Simone, don't you prefer to be more cautious? Why did you suddenly become so determined? The crown prince asked the girl in a quiet voice. In this world, you're either a predator or a prey. Besides, the palace is already under my control, so why can't I put on a show? Replied the girl. 2 hours later, Yasin still hadn't been able to restore the blood flow in the legs of the second prince of Cesar. Do you enjoy mocking us? Help him, you can see he's suffering, asked Yasin to Simone. Simone inserted a needle into Caesar's leg. The pain immediately receded. Feeling Caesar's pulse, Yasin noticed that the blood flow was restored. The girl was extremely surprised by this. She realized that Simone was much stronger than her in medicine. What happened? The pain is gone, but I still can't feel my legs, exclaimed Caesar. Yes, the blood flow has been restored, but the second prince won't be able to walk anymore. Bring him a wheelchair. Also, don't forget to help the prince get into that chair, ordered Simone. The soldiers walked over to the second prince and lifted him off the floor. I don't want to move in this chair, shouted Caesar. Well, now you will have to accept your fate, said Simone as Caesar was still placed in the chair. You bastard, I'll kill you, roared Caesar. From the ring of the second prince, his familiar burst out. He had the form of a golden lion. The lion stood in front of Simone and roared loudly. This golden lion is the strongest familiar animal in history. He has been the majesty and power of our house for many years, Moan explained. He also unleashed his familiar. It took on the form of a silver staff. That's it. Now my opponents will finally be destroyed. The emperor rejoiced. Suddenly the lion was attacked by a huge black panther. I had already forgotten that you have a magic cat, said Moan to the girl. A moment later, the Black Panther tore the golden lion into small pieces. How is this even possible? What kind of power does this panther possess that it was able to destroy my familiar? Caesar marveled. Caesar noticed that the spirit ring had disappeared from his hand. His familiar had ceased to exist. Spyro quietly observed what was happening. So the Black Panther can absorb other spirits. As expected, our Lord has set his eyes on someone very special. The spy thought to himself. My father's death and my uncle's injury were your doing, am I correct? Simone asked the Emperor. No, it wasn't me. It was you who brought the trouble upon yourself. In a frightened voice, the Emperor replied, Go sketch an imperial edict of abdication and lock those 3 in the dungeon. Don't touch Yasin just yet, and you can do whatever you want with your brother and father, Simone said to the Crown Prince. A week later, Moana was declared the new emperor. Not only the officials, but also the common people sided with him. Suddenly, an unknown blonde-haired guy appeared in Simone's room. Who are you anyway? The girl wondered. If I understand everything correctly, you must be my mistress. After thinking for a bit and looking around, the guy replied, Do you really not recognize your surname? I'm not that small and silly child anymore. Now I finally have a chance to get rid of your damn cat that's been bullying me. Hearing the words of Barry's familiar immediately burst into flames. And he's starting to look a little unusual. Has he become more powerful? The familiar wondered. Well, here I am. I'm back. Wired entered the room and hugged the girl. It has recently come to my attention that your cat has devoured the golden lion. He will be much stronger now. I knew it. Your cat is as special as you are. It's worth noting that the lion was rank 5. If it was a few ranks higher, your cat wouldn't have been able to defeat it. How do you even know all this? Who told you about my cat? Why do you know about the ranks of familiars? Asked the girl. Don't bother. It doesn't matter how I know it. I want to assure you that I will never hurt you, replied Wyherd. Okay, since you've already made your point, you can go now, Simone said in a cold tone. There you go, as usual. You've taken advantage of me again and chased me away. Do you really hate me? Wyherd asked the girl. No, I don't hate you. You saved me and afterward my grandfather. I will never forget that you cured me, replied Simone. Well, since you don't hate me, maybe you like me? Asked Wyherd. No, I don't like you. I have completely different feelings for you. Lowering her eyes to the floor, Simone admitted. Suddenly, Wyherd leaned over and kissed Simone on the cheek. The girl froze on the spot, confused. She didn't know how to properly react to this. And I like you, and I don't want to hide it anymore. Looking into the girl's eyes, Weird admitted. Simone looked at him warily. Was he telling the truth? Could he be up to some kind of game? What if his words were lies? It would take time to find out.